Jalen Ramsey be on his way to Seattle? Welcome into this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. I am your fearless leader, Tyler Jones, here with you. Thanks for joining us. On today's show, we got a brand new rumor to get to that connects the Miami Dolphins All-Pro corner to your Seattle Seahawks. The latest comes from the folks at 12th Man Rising. They are the Fansided site that covers the Hawks, and they are suggesting that it is time for Seattle to make a big move to bring in Jalen Ramsey. And to kind of give some context before we show you what 12th Man Rising had to say, it's no secret over the last month that Jalen Ramsey is going to get traded from the Miami Dolphins. He doesn't want to be there. The Dolphins are ready to unload that contract, even though they literally just paid him not too long ago. We've seen the cryptic messages and the tweets. It was only a matter of time. They had to wait till post-June 1 to make it happen. So what about Seattle? Why could the Hawks be a fit for Jalen Ramsey? Let's let you hear from Lee Val of 12th Man Rising, who writes this. Teams wanting to trade for Ramsey would have to have the cap space to do so. The Rams can make room, but the Seahawks still have north of $30 million to spend this offseason and much more next offseason. Seattle can afford him, and Ramsey would put the finishing touches on the Seahawks defense. Seattle is obviously thinking of bringing in another cornerback. The team has met with Shaq Griffin twice this offseason. He would be a relatively inexpensive option and good in coverage. So, folks, I would put it this way. This is very, very interesting. All right? I know that there's some big names that could potentially be moved over the coming weeks ahead when you talk Jalen Ramsey and Trey Hendrickson. And these are guys that you would think, okay, Seattle, this defense is pretty good, but you add them, that takes you another step up. But just how doable is it to pull this off? Is it even within the realm of possibility if Seattle wanted to make a trade like this? More from Lee Val in a moment, but real quick, let me ask you guys, do you want Seattle to make a big move? Whether it's a trade like this or free agent signing. If so, go ahead and hit that like button. And let's just survey the audience. Just tell me real quick if you want them to make a big move, whether it's this or something else. Hit the like button. If not, comment and tell me why. And we'll continue with more from Lee Val here. Val writes this. Adding Ramsey would be good for Seattle, but would also hurt the Rams. The Seahawks know well how much the cornerback can affect a game because Seattle faced him twice in most years between 2019 and 2022. His battles with DK Metcalf were legendary. General Manager John Schneider and head coach Mike Macdonald are trying to make the team good by having a great defense. The unit ranked in the top 10 last season and brought nearly everyone back. Seattle also added defensive end DeMarcus Lawrence. Adding Ramsey would cement the secondary as one of the best in the NFL. Now, with that said, he is 30 years old. As somebody that just turned 29 recently, I can tell you that more of the body parts are starting to hurt. All right? Getting old isn't fun. I know this all too well these days. But in Jalen Ramsey's case, he is a young 30. I had a coworker many years ago. He put it this way. It's not the age, it's the mileage. And Jalen Ramsey has taken care of himself. And he doesn't have too many miles on him. He is still a dog at 30 years of age at this point. And he's well on his way to Canton. He's a future Hall of Famer. It's not every day that we're talking about the possibility of trading for somebody that is going to have one of those busts in Ohio. And it's going to be on full display. And going to get the jacket and have the ceremony and all that. This is a unique opportunity Seattle could potentially find themselves in to add Ramsey here. He would add some juice to this defense. I can tell you that right now. I think this defense on paper already looks pretty good. But we are sitting here wondering, okay, What can they do to take that next step forward? And I think we wouldn't be talking like what Lee Val mentioned there about Seattle's defense being just a good defense. I think they would be among the best of the best and be a great defense with Jalen Ramsey potentially added to this roster. And, sure, to be the best, like what we're talking about here, it's not something that's going to come cheap, okay? If you're going to trade for a Trey Hendrickson or a Jalen Ramsey, it will come at a cost. But business ain't cheap. Winning is expensive in this league. And if you're saying to yourselves, this is what we need, you might have to pull the trigger and say, you know what, we have to do what we need to do to take that next step and not be content with just being where you're at. This could be exactly what Seattle's looking for, especially at the corner position. More on that coming up in just a moment. Let's ask you, should the Seahawks trade for Jalen Ramsey? You got two options here. Type T for trade, P for pass. Put the GM hat on. Weigh in. Let us know in the comments section below. Today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the place to go for daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. You choose two more players in any given category. Get the choice of more or less, whether you're talking fantasy points, maybe it's rebounds in basketball, goals in hockey, home runs in baseball, all sorts of different categories to choose from. Do you know ball? There's only one series left in the playoffs, and the championship is officially on the line. That means time is running out for you to put your final takes to the test on Prize Picks, the best place to win cash on your favorite sports. This year's basketball playoffs are headed towards crowning a first-time champ in more than 50 years. Don't miss your last chance to cash in on history with Prize Picks. Pick more or less on player stats like points, rebounds, assists, and more for your shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash today. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. The basketball playoffs are wrapping up, but the action is still heating up on Prize Picks, the best place to win cash on your favorite sports. Download the app today. Use code CLNS. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Here's what I got for game one of the basketball finals. I'm going with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the best player in the world. They have more than 10.5 free throw attempts. I am not calling him a free throw merchant, though. That's disrespectful, Doris Burke. I'm going with less than 17.5 points from Tyrese Halliburton, and I'm going with more than 5 rebounds from Miles Turner. If I put $20 down on all three of these hit, that turns into $100 on Prize Picks. Play along with us. PrizePicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Prize Picks, run your game. All right, more on Jalen Ramsey. He was traded to the Dolphins in 2023 after previously playing for the Rams and the Jags. A 7-time Pro Bowler, a 3-time first-team All-Pro, and we know awfully too well that he is a Super Bowl champion, winning that Super Bowl title with the Los Angeles Rams a few years ago. And you can see the numbers have stayed steady Eddie in his career. The last 4 seasons, 4 picks in 2021, 4 in 2022, 3 in 2023, 2 in 2024. His pass breakups were up nearly double this past season from 2023 as well. Played in all 17 games in 2024. And then you look at his coverage stats this past season. QB rating allowed and completion percentage was a bit high at 93.5, but you have to keep in mind, too, he was always taking on the best receivers each and every week in the NFL as well. But with that said, he did only give up 2 touchdowns last season. Now, folks, let's take things a step further. This is why you come to Seattle Seahawks today, is that we look beyond just the box score here. We go into some deeper analytics and analysis here for you. And let's go to our friends, the nerds at Pro Football Focus, and take a look at their grades over the last 5 seasons for Jalen Ramsey. In 2020, his overall defensive grade was a 79.8. His run defense grade was 67.4. Tackling grade was a 65. Pass rush grade was a 77. And his coverage grade was an 80.3. Those were very good. Now, continuing. Let's go a year further. In 2021, defensive grade was up. An 84.5, a run defense grade of 86, tackling grade of 71.8, pass rush grade of 60.0, and a coverage grade of 86.3. So you can see a jump up in every category except the pass rush number. And the pass rush number wasn't bad. Let's go another year. Let's go to 2022. And the defensive grade was up again with an 86.4. Run defense grade, extremely high, 91.8. Tackling grade of 72.5. Pass rush grade, 91.1. A lot better than that 60 he had the year prior. And coverage grade was still good, 77.8. Now he goes to the Miami Dolphins. New team, new scheme, and all that. Numbers were down a bit. Only played in 10 games. Had the injury. But they weren't bad numbers. 66.4 on defense, 67.4 run defense, 63 tackling grade, 55.9 pass rush grade, and 66.3 coverage grade. Now let's go to the most recent numbers from 2024 when he played in all 17 games for Miami. What did he do? He delivered is what he did. A 76.9 defensive grade, an 85.7 run defense grade. Tackling grade, not so hot, 43.0. Pass rush grade, solid again, 76.5. And a really good coverage grade of 71.9. What all that says to me, folks, is consistency. When he's been healthy, he has been very consistent time and time and time again. Now, with that said, he ain't cheap. All right? He's the highest paid corner in football for a reason. It will come at a price to potentially bring Jalen Ramsey to Seattle. What is that price exactly? So here's the numbers situation for Jalen Ramsey. He already has the final year of his current contract, which is fully guaranteed. And then he begins a 3-year extension that's been signed after that, which starts in 2026. And it is a lot of money. 3 years, $72.3 million with about 24.1 per year over that stretch. So we're talking a big chunk of change for a player that's already entering his 30s at this point. Good news for Seattle fans is that the Hawks can't afford to pay him. The money is there if they want with the cap space, even with all the dead money that they're still paying guys like DK and all that. They got $30+ million at their disposal this year and more money coming next year. The question you have to circle back to if you're the Seahawks is it worth it in 2 years from now? I think Jalen Ramsey is going to be great this upcoming season, and he's probably going to be really good the year after that. But when you're still paying all this money, is he still playing at a high level 2-3 years from now when you've committed that? I don't know. But with that said, here is what the potential trade would be like. Because of all that money, you're not giving up a first or a second. You're probably giving up a third-round pick. Jalen Ramsey, I can tell you this right now, is probably far better than anyone you're going to get to pick in the third round of next year's draft. I'm starting to talk myself into this. The more I think about it, I was kind of opposed to it at first. But seeing the way the numbers stack up and how the money does work and where this defense is at, let's ask you, Jalen Ramsey worth giving up a third-round pick for? Why for yes, in for no? Tell me if you would give up a third for Ramsey or not. Folks, I want to make sure you're subscribed to Seattle Seahawks Today as we bring you our daily news and rumors, weekly live shows every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Our Madden Sims. We have our Q&A rumors mailbags. We got it all right here on Seahawks Today, folks. Best part about it, doesn't cost you a thing. 100% free. YouTube.com/Seahawks TV. Let's get at least 20 subs off today's video. Make it happen. Subscribe now. You'll be glad you did. Some final thoughts on a potential trade for Jalen Ramsey here. This is about going from good to great. Clearly, Mike Macdonald and John Schneider are building this team based on their defense. They want to be a defensive-first football team and win with that side of the ball. And all of a sudden, if you have a great defense, you can hang with anybody in the NFC. And Jaylen Ramsey can help you take that next step up. Jaylen Ramsey takes it up another level for this year, next year, but beyond that, we'll see. The other thing, too, to keep in mind, as mentioned at the top by the folks at 12th Man Rising, there is one team in particular that wants to reunite with this guy, one of his former teams, and they're right here in this division. That's the Los Angeles Rams. The fact that the Rams want him to, and you get a chance to crush their dreams and take the player they want. Because in all reality here, folks, if Seattle doesn't get to Jalen Ramsey, you might be having to face him twice a year. And life might be even more difficult for you of trying to win this division, of letting him go to Los Angeles here. Do we want that to happen? Should Seattle just take matters into their own hands? Maybe so. If you enjoyed today's show, you already know what to do. Hit that like button. We certainly would appreciate it. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you next time here on Seahawks Today.